Spin the ball. Down and quiet.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're at in our international audience. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of the RCRC podcast. We have some exciting updates for you tonight. First, I want to officially welcome Mr. Chris Horn to the team. He is going to be the new co-host on the RCRC podcast, as well as the new team manager for Truth Motorsports team. And he will also be serving as the race director for all of our events this year. So thanks for joining us, Chris, and excited to have you on board.
It's going to be fun race directing again. It's been a while.
Yeah. Among other things. Software development, what do you call it? A graphic artist, t-shirt design, sanity checker for everything that I do, everything we got going on. But yeah, welcome. Super excited for this year. Got a lot of cool stuff going on this year. Not the least of which is the new podcast kicking back off. We have some cool guests that we're going to be bringing on in about 15 minutes. And we will introduce them when they're ready to go on. And if you're paying attention to Facebook, you already know because we announced it on the on our announcement. But we got some more guests coming up after this as well. So look forward to those updates. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, subscribed on YouTube.
Speaking of the announcement, I don't know if you caught it, but my wife caught it. So the original post did say we were going to talk about the 2024 season. I did fix that.
Little typo. Yeah, that's all right. So we just started a new TikTok, and as soon as we get to 1,000 followers, which probably should only take a couple of days, we'll be able to go live on TikTok as well. So right now we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And then as soon as we get approved for live on TikTok, we'll go there as well. So if you are not already subscribed on those channels, please go and do that. Help us out. We are I have been making updates to the website, and I had to put a little blurb about who Truth Motorsports is, and I just said RC enthusiasts who are excited to make new RC enthusiasts. So that's what we're all about. Welcoming people to this. Some might say hobby, some might say sickness, some might say illness. You know, that is RC, but that's our goal, is to let people know what we do and why they should come do it with us. So. All right, let's jump right into it. We got a few updates from the track. We have been very, very busy throughout the winter and throughout already this little bit of spring that we've had so far. I can say that Chris and I have been talking almost till 10, 11, 12 o'clock, and then I'll work for a couple hours after that on lots of stuff. The website, new merch that we got coming in, and then he came up and helped with let me just jump right to, let's see, let me go right to this. So this is the new hobby shop. So this was our first kind of big day in the new hobby shop, getting stuff out of the trailer and into the hobby shop. We have It's not huge, but it'll be there. It'll be better than the trailer was. But we have lots of space for product. We've got the 2 glass cases there, so we'll have electronics in there, batteries, ESCs, that kind of stuff. Kits and radios. What you don't see in that picture is we got some new stuff in today. Got some Fly Sky radios on the shelf now. We will have a cool spot for snacks and drinks that will be loaded up there and available throughout the day in our custom Truth Motorsports refrigerator, thanks to Chris and his cool sticker printer. Loaded up with tires already, and we got plenty of Nitrolux fuel. And so a lot more stuff coming in. I just put this up today. That's a 4x8 pegboard that will be full of lots of goodies pretty soon as they get in and inventoried. It's not quite done yet, but and then as far as the track goes, if you were here last year, that big metal thing that you see on the left was not here for our events last year. That is our new driver stand. And I just realized I don't have pictures of the top of the driver stand, but I think they're already on Truth Motorsports page, so on the Facebook. But you can see the driver stand. I think hands down, this is the largest, tallest, and space for drivers in the whole state. So this is the biggest driver stand in the state of Virginia.
The wooden stairs are much nicer than other places that do Connex box driver stands with slippery metal ones. So I've knocked my shins on metal stairs too many times.
Yeah, a lot of effort went into this driver stand. Let's see. What this picture is showing is this was all dirt last year, and for most of the year it was actually mud, because this was the very last place on the track that dried out. The track would be completely dry, and you would still leave footprints in this dirt. So we pulled all that up and we put in a French drain, and now it is all gravel. So all of pit lane is gravel, and then we'll put pits back together shortly. Get rid of all this dirt. This is also another huge upgrade. This is the beginning of the new driveway for the back of the property. It's already done. I don't have pictures of it with gravel, but that is for you to be able to drive to the back of the property and pit back there, either with your car, your trailer, your RV, whatever it is. But you can get back to the back of the property. So that opens up a ton of parking, and just an immense amount of parking. And all of that stuff is going to be cleaned up and ready to go for our first race on the 9th. Let's see. Oh, and this is, you can see how many trees we pulled down and how much space there is back there. That's a 30-foot trailer right there. So you can see there is a ton of space back there. Now where the trailer is going to be is actually part of the new track. So here's the biggest thing. This has taken me about 8 months to start getting more dirt. Culpeper is what we call dirt poor. It is really, really hard to get dirt in Culpeper. So this is actually being trucked in from probably 40 minutes away, a site down in Southern Orange County. And so we're getting 20 loads of new dirt to expand the track. Right now the track is 100 foot wide and about 80 foot deep, and we'll have the ability to go to 140 foot deep and 110 foot wide. So we added some new drainage. There used to be a creek behind where those trees are right there. That's now 15-inch pipe that's buried under the ground. So all that is now good for parking, and it's a 320 feet of 15-inch pipe. So, and if you guys, any of you guys in construction, that was not a cheap ordeal. that pipe is expensive. So that's all going in. We've got more dirt coming tomorrow. We've got about half of our dirt here. And then next week we'll be pulling the pipe up, scraping this track down, and starting with the new layout. So, all right, that's all of the updates for the track. We're gonna touch real quick on Psycho Nitro Blast. So we had some locals down there. We're not gonna go through all of them. To be perfectly honest, I think you said the same thing. All of the sportsmen, I didn't recognize anybody. So,
It's all new. I think all the fast sportsman guys are moving up to intermediate and pro, and the new
as
faces.
they should. So, we'll just touch real quick. This is really cool because you can see in intermediate, this is a lot of young drivers. This is kind of all the fast young drivers from our area. There's I think Colton's from New Jersey. I think Decker's from Pennsylvania, and Maddie's here in Virginia. I think Aiden's out of the Carolinas somewhere. But really cool to see these guys. They're super fast. We've been watching them race for a couple of years, and to see them, consistently on top of the podium is really cool. This is electric buggy, nitro buggy. Maddie got the win, and we got Javon, another local racer that's just down the road from us in green, and hopefully he'll be coming out and racing with us next year. Let's see here. You got Aiden and Decker and Colton again. Oh, and you got Ryan. Ryan ran there on the podium. Trying to get him to come.
Team manager.
Yeah. Techno extraordinaire. I already talked to him about trying to get up here for a race or two this year. It's a little bit of a haul, but he's got a pretty busy schedule. But and then jump over to the pros. What I thought was interesting is, if you notice, there's a pretty good dispersion of chassis. You got X-Ray, S-Works, a couple of Techno, and Sparco. That hasn't always been the case. A lot lately, it's either been kind of Techno wiping up, or S-Works will wipe up.
Who is the Sparco driver? I've never even heard of him, but
that's
I only knew about Lee.
Yeah, actually, Jonah went to Sparco first. So Jonah,
okay.
the Fish Wilson, yeah. So he's out of Tennessee. His home track is down in Knoxville, I think. So
Is he racing the Rock?
The Rock, yeah. And then Nitro Buggy, you got same thing. You got a couple of associated. You got a Techno, X-Ray. So this is interesting to see. I'm
not gonna lie, I was rooting for Brandon when I saw he got that early TQ. I was like, ooh, maybe he'll pull it off and win. But if Dakota's fast, he's hard to beat.
Yeah. He's got a rig, man. His setup this year is super cool. You got the RV and all that good stuff. So good for his new family.
Him, the wife, and the baby, they're going all over the place.
And the dog, yeah. Let's see. In electric buggy, you got another nice. So you got Techno, Sparco, Associated, a couple of Associated, and S-Works. And then Truggy. So X-Ray had a good weekend. Dakota did really well. So nice.
That honestly might be like X-Ray's best weekend in A scale in the States.
Yeah. Probably since he rented the team. Yeah.
I mean, they put new buggies out this year. I mean, they put new buggies out almost every year, but apparently, I guess they did something right this year.
Well, they went after a bunch of drivers. I mean, with Lee and Jonah, and they got a pretty big push this year for the sponsorship. So
yeah, for A scale, I know they got Dakota and they got Tater, and on the intermediate side, they got Colton, who's super fast.
Oh, he's been running X-Ray for a while. Yeah. A couple of years at least. But that's the updates that I've got. And now it is the golden hour. It is the time when we get to bring the VIPs in. And I would have to say this is maybe I know for me, but I'm jaded, or I'm not jaded, but I'm what do you call it? Yeah, can't think of the word. It's escaping me. But I have my favorites, but I would have to say this might be the most famous and beloved couple in all of RC. So without further ado, let's bring Krista and Kevin in from LCRC.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks
Good.
for joining us. We had to bring in the OGs for our first, podcast of the season.
You're too
You
kind.
guys are very, very active on social media with your Married to RC podcast and the Wednesday lives. And so I said, hey, you know what? Who better to have on than people that are getting it done? We want to change it up, podcast. A lot of people want to have, all the pro drivers, which is cool, but there's a lot of people doing that. So I said, I told Chris, I said, when we start back, I want to do, influencers and race promoters and, different people who are, in the industry, but have different roles than just the drivers. So
Well, thank
thanks.
you. That was a really nice introduction.
Yeah, no,
Well,
for sure. You're too kind.
And we're really glad
to,
to be on
Go ahead.
RCRC. That holds a special place in our heart because when Adeline was little, she couldn't say LCRC, so she always called it RCRC. And there's many videos where she was mimicking us, and instead of saying, "Hi, I'm Krista and Kevin from LCRC," she would say, "I'm Adeline from RCRC." So
Yeah.
Nice. I didn't realize we had such a heritage.
Yeah.
So actually for me, it's how I got into racing. So there was a track in Oklahoma. I raced when I was about 16 years old. I started racing and I raced oval when it was RC10. When I was racing, the RC10T came out. So that was like the big, when the truck came out. So that's how old I am.
You're dating yourself. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I had my very first car was a gold pan RC10 with the Swiper ESC.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely dating myself there. But the track was called RCRC. It's long gone. But that's kind of where it came from.
Awesome.
I've
you for
talked
having us.
way too much already.
I have to throw one thing in there. Can you imagine these kids today if they had to run the second servo in an electric car with an old school swiper speed control? They would fit.
Yeah, it was terrible. Like it was so different, compared. Our sprint car chassis didn't even have a bend. It was I don't think it was carbon. I think it was fiberglass, but it was composite, but it was just flat. So there was no rake on the front wheels. So it's completely different than it is now.
There's actually one of those mechanical speed controllers hanging up in the bathroom of my local hobby shop. I've always wanted it.
Oh yeah.
It's got the Futaba servos and everything with it.
I don't have any of my stuff quite that old. I have some stuff from the Norca pan car days left, but it's all like Novak Tekin electronic stuff. I don't have any of the old school mechanical stuff left.
Yeah, it only lasted a couple weeks in the car, and then I went to a Novak ESC, but it did come with that Swiper ESC. So, but and it was pretty green. It was very like we call it not rusted, but whatever the green is on electronics.
Oxidation.
Oxidation. Yeah, I had to clean it all off. It wouldn't even work when I first got it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Electronic mold.
Exactly. Yeah. So before the time gets away, we do have some questions for you guys, and I have been wanting to interview you guys since I've watched your first interview, and I heard a little bit about you guys' story, how you met. And I'm sure there are some gaps that I don't know, but as we get started, can you just give us the quick history, because we have some other questions of Was that me? Yep. That's
Okay,
me.
somebody has a question right
Of
now.
course. Yeah. It's my dad.
Phoning
My
in
dad
already.
wants to be our first call in.
Caller on the line.
Yeah. So why don't you give us the background a little bit of what you guys did before RC, how you guys met, because I think it's a really cool story and probably one that a lot of people will resonate with.
Yeah. So Kevin and I met through motocross, ATV motocross in particular. Kevin and LCRC used to be Lost Creek Cycles. It stands for Lost Creek RC, but back in the day, it was the Lost Creek Cycles ATV team. And Kevin worked for Suzuki as the crew chief of the team. And I worked for a company called JB Racing out of East Springfield, Pennsylvania. We made all the suspension products, and I was a racer myself. So we met on the racing circuit. I eventually retired from racing and was doing the press correspondent job for ATV motocross. And with Kevin having a high ranking role in, they won multiple national championships, and so we spent quite a bit of time together. And it's funny because I lived in Ohio at the time, and he lived here in Pennsylvania, and we met in all the states except for these states.
Yes, that's so true. Well, we did race a couple times in Pennsylvania, but that was just by sheer luck.
Yeah.
But yeah, we never really met up with each other or hung out at home. We were always somewhere for, I'll say, business, racing or doing something. But
Work, you can
for almost 20 years now, and she's my lovely wife.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, as the rest of us did, you clearly married up, and so that's the key to a good marriage is marrying up. So, but
well, at least I got something right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, even the blind squirrel, right? That's what they say.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, Chris, I'll let you jump into the next question because otherwise I'll just talk the whole night.
So
he's got to get better at interjecting.
I know, apparently. No, because we chose y'all. We were hoping for y'all to be on the first one because our first race of the season for the two of us is going to be up at your place in 2 weeks. I haven't been there yet. I just, anything, for people who haven't been there planning on visiting in 2 weeks, we should know. Or anything new or exciting? Yes.
First of all, we're excited to have you. There is nothing that makes us happier than inviting a new racer here and just showing, what we're so passionate about. And, we've put really years and years of our blood, sweat, and tears into this facility. And it's our pride and joy because of the community that it has built. So I'm excited to have you and meet you in person. And we do, for anybody that's new, anymore, when people travel, it's intimidating. You want to know what you're getting yourself into, right? Nobody travels without doing some research. So I created a visitor's guide. So anybody that's like, wait, but where do I go? Or how do I pit? Or what do I need to bring? Or how long of an extension cord? Is there power? There's a whole visitor's guide on the website that can walk you through any questions that you have. And then obviously we're here every step of the way. So anything in particular that you're wondering, you can always ask. The big thing that people, I would say the frequently asked questions are, what do I need to bring? Which is just tent, table, chair is the most common. There's power available, especially over at Pit Lot 1, but throughout the facility. So you don't really have to worry about bringing a generator. We also have an air compressor that's fantastic. So we have a wash station. You don't have to worry about that either. And, coming with a good attitude. I think the other big question I can think of is where to sign up, which is in the hobby shop. But you've got the greatest gift of all, which is coming with somebody that's done it before. So you'll be able to be guided through the whole experience. But for anybody that doesn't have that, just come in the hobby shop and let us know that it's your first time and that you don't know what to do. And we will throw you on the golf cart. We'll make you a friend and give you your own personal tour guide for the weekend.
Yeah, that's one of the things, if you are new and you don't have a friend, you got Tiny, so you're just going to roll in with him and he's going to kind of show you around and you're going to get your feet wet, off of his coattails, which is great. but if you don't have that and you are just straight up new and you don't necessarily have, a bunch of your buddies here already that have come before, best thing to do, just come in the store and tell the girls behind the counter, hey, I'm new, I've never been here before, need a little help. And they'll radio, usually me, and I'll come get you on a golf cart and we'll go around, do a little facility tour. I ask questions like, what kind of cars do you drive? What's your local track? Like, where do you usually race at? Do you have any other friends that might be here? Because maybe you didn't know they were here, but oh, Tim? Oh yeah, I know him. He always pits over here with these guys. Oh, so-and-so's here. And, all of a sudden, next thing you know, they've not just made friends, but they realized, oh, I know that guy. And, we hook them up and get them into a group that makes them feel comfortable. And if they don't know anyone, which, believe it or not, does happen on the regular, we make friends for them. And, maybe, there's a famous story about this young techno guy that came and didn't know where to go. So we introduced him to Alex Schultz, who took him over and introduced him to Mike Lopes, the regional manager, and they pitted with Lopes and the Pieris, and they left that weekend great friends, and
that's really the goal. Is in the end, the racing is fun, but the most important part is that you leave with a new community. So we'll make sure you get that too, Chris.
I'm excited to come up there. I've been trying the Mugen Challenge is a race that I've been trying to get to for the last 3 years. And I was like, this year, like, I'm getting up there. And then we went to Fall Brawl together, and Tiny's like, hey, you want to go to LCRC with me this year? I'm like, I'll be there.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm a little bit spoiled. We have a spot in the RV. And so my very first race that I came up not knowing, what was what, I ended up hitting right on the very corner. I think I was there from Mugen, and I was there super early in the week. And I pitted right on the corner of where all the pros, I didn't realize I was in like the pro section, but it was like my, I don't know, third or fourth, big race outside of just, a couple of around here, adrenaline, that kind of deal. But I ended up meeting Daniel Sedler. And, we still connect at every race that we're at together. So we pitted next to each other and, ended up, he wasn't even driving yet. So he was, and his dad was there. And so I just saw him racing a PMB this weekend. But lots of cool conversations there, and then met, all the guys that pit in that area. So that's one of the things, you use the word community. And one of the things that's so unique about LCRC, in my opinion, is it is such a family friendly community. And it is what, to be 100% truthful, it is what we are trying to kind of emulate here at Truth Motorsports. We have, integrated a ton of you guys' concepts and ideas. I love the numbered stones, and a lot of things when we kind of have our side conversations about how races are run. I just said, it's easy, guys. If you want to know how to do it, just go to an LCRC race and just take notes, because from the amount of blue shirts, the blue crew that you guys have running around, it never ceases to amaze me how fast the track can get turned around from, a rain event, or if there's something that needs to get done, how fast you guys water that massive track. Mm-hmm. And it's just it's amazing. And somebody will say, well, it might rain, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, don't even got to worry about it. They're going to race. We've been
incredibly blessed with the best people. And I mean, we're constantly talking about how we could never have found the people that work on the track. Like it is truly a gift from God. Right. One after another, we just keep getting the right people at the right time. And we're just so lucky, and we have the best crew. But honestly, we've always had the best crew. It doesn't matter who the members are. Like over the years, they've changed, but it just continues to be the best people ever to make things happen. So it's just, we're just lucky enough to be able to organize those people. we're such a small part of the bigger picture, which is all of those great people that add into our success.
Yeah, for sure. Ditto everything she just said. I mean, it's you know, you can go out and search for help if you want, and I'm not saying you can't find it, but we've been so blessed over the years by the majority of these great people that surround us have chosen to come to us, not, and very grateful. And I think it shows in all the angles, like, because we all get along and we're all working toward not just doing it right, making it better, being friendly and trying to get along. And hey, if there's an issue, let's just take a deep breath. Let's figure this out.
Right.
I understand that guy's always a hothead, but hey, let's work with it and fix it, or work on it, not just, blow it off or ignore it. So
Shared
it's
vision.
great.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, I plan my whole year around you guys' races. You guys' races go on the calendar first, and then
Everything else is filler.
Everything else, yeah. So, and I'm happy this year. Our VCS series did the same thing. They realized, hey, there's some kind of staple tracks that, obviously we try to plan around the Virginia tracks. It's getting harder and harder because I think there's 5 tracks in Virginia now, which is a good thing, but it's a lot of competition for weekends. And, I
5 tracks and my
sponsor.
locust is 3 hours away. My closest is 3 hours away.
Mhm.
People who have tracks nearby, they're so lucky.
Mhm.
Well, I sponsored VCS the first year, and then I didn't get to go to a bunch of you guys' races until the next year. I was like, hey guys, if you guys want me to be involved in this series, you got to schedule on LCRC because I'm going there. That's happening, so.
Well, that's
luckily
like one
we're
of
getting done.
the kindest, and the thing that humbles us is when people like say that they are doing, it doesn't matter what it takes, we're going to come to all of your events. I mean, that is just, there is no greater compliment that you can pay us. So thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we appreciate it. So, I'm go ahead.
I was say, are we gonna hear you sing the national anthem? Apparently, Tiny.
Yes, that is one
Apparently.
of my favorite things is,
Us too.
the opportunity to sing my favorite song in the world. And, so that's
Shane
one of
posted
the
a
things that's
comment.
unique.
He said, "Woo woo, ready for next Saturday." Here you burst out the national anthem.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I love it, appreciate it, and just blessed to be able to get to do that and share that with the rest of the family.
So Chris, I'll tell you a quick story about that. And it's one of the things I have goosebumps right now, just even thinking about it. So I'm usually up beside him on the driver's stand as he performs. And when we're on the driver's stand overlooking the crowd of drivers and onlookers for the drivers meeting and the anthem, we're looking, if you look over the crowd, you see the number 8 green on the golf course next door. And more Saturday mornings than not, when he performs, the golfers that are on the green will literally stop and lay down their clubs and take off their hats and cross their hearts and stand over there and enjoy the anthem. And it's chilling. Like it just, I'm
It's
so
definitely
grateful.
one of the best renditions.
Yes, it's amazing.
We're really grateful for you, Tiny.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I appreciate it. Like I say, I love the opportunity to do it. And so
that's my pit guy right there. I guess I'll have him at Mukin Challenge. He's the best pit guy I think I've ever had. We did the first VCS race together, and he was fumbling around. He got fuel in the car. By the end of VCS, he was tuning my car by ear.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Well, we're excited to have him.
We're bringing our whole crew. We're going to bring them all up. Yeah, there'll be a big, train from Virginia. So
that's awesome.
So I'm curious. I saw another interview where you Kevin was talking about kind of how the track came to be. So you got out of racing quads. How did that transition? How did it go to RC? And then I'm sure you didn't build a track on the first day.
Well, it actually, you can thank American Suzuki for this whole situation, because me taking the Suzuki gig took me to California for 2 or 3 months every winter for testing and, team development and things. And, when we were out there and got finished with our jobs in the evenings, we didn't have anything to do. There was only a handful of us out there that knew each other. And next thing you know, one of the riders, Dustin Wimmer, said to me, "Hey, yeah, you used RC, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hey, I found this RC track 15 minutes up the road. Let's go check it out." I'm like, "All right." So we went to dinner and drove up to this RC track, and it was Revelation Raceway. Little did I know at the time, which was nothing. Okay. I came from pan car, on-road stuff. I never really did. One winter I ran gas truck for off-road. It's the only off-road experience I ever had. So we roll up to this 8-scale off-road track, and there's a big triple in the middle, and we were all like mesmerized. And we decided we were going to get 8 scales the next day at the local hobby shop as soon as we get off work, and we were making that triple. So we go to the local hobby shop, and there's another story about the interaction about purchasing the cars, which we'll tell that story another day. But so Wimmer and I each get Losi 1.0 ready to runs, and we're living out of an extended stay hotel. So we get done testing up in the desert that evening, and we get back to the hotel, and we get these cars out, and we're breaking them in the parking lot. Brand new pull start, ready to run 28s, and we ran them up and down the parking lot like a tank, tuned them up. We're like, they're broke in, let's go. So the next night we end up going over to Revelation, and before the night was over, my credit card just laid on the counter in the hobby shop, because every time we went out on the track, I broke stuff. But by the end of the night, Wimmer and I both had made the triple at least once, and we were hooked ever since.
So at the time, in between all these different races that we were going to across the entire country, we would travel to Georgia and then to Tennessee, and then in between races, the whole crew would come here, and this was home base in between. So we would be usually home a week, and then we would leave again. And we finally get home. I'm working on laundry and groceries and all these things that we have to get done in this 1 week we have off. And these guys are like, "Hey, we found that there's an RC track in Virginia. We're going to go away this weekend to go to Virginia to go racing RC cars." And I'm like, "No way. We travel all the time. When we're home, we're going to stay home." And so I was like, "If you want to build a track and play with those RC cars, do it in the side yard." The rest is history.
Wah, wah.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
That-
It
that,
was
that little offhanded comment is about how I got a track in my backyard. So
Yeah.
we were-
You
we-
got to
we
grab
were-
onto those things.
she said, you got a yard, go build your own damn track. And
Yeah.
and
what
we
we did.
did. It all
We
started
were-
riding an LT80 around over on the sand mound. Next thing you know, I was like, man, that'd be a nice off camber. Let's yeah, hey, what do you think? And wasn't but like a month later we were buying sewer and drain pipe, and
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Are we gonna see some big features on the layout this year?
So I mean, we're always looking to do some new stuff. It's tough. We're not that we're in the super duper dirt's hard to come by shortage that Tiny's in, but again, our good sifted screen soil, I mean, it's slowly going away. So yeah, I mean, we got some stuff in the works. I'm hoping Mother Nature cooperates, and trying to line up the right equipment that you have to rent, beg, borrow, or I don't want to say steal, but sometimes, you gotta do what you gotta do. And, to make all that happen at the scale, we're not talking about 2 T-tag dump trucks full of dirt from the farm. Like, we're talking, this project we got cooking with what we call the grassy knoll out back is probably 100 plus axles of soil. So
yeah. What we're alluding to is we recently talked on an episode of Married to RC, which is our podcast about soil health. And one of the big things is time for us to get new soil here at LCRC. So we're hoping to sift isn't the right word. Screen some dirt in order to get the rocks out and basically get us some fresh dirt and plant our old worn out dirt. So that's a spring project we're working on. And when that happens, then that opens the door for lots of great layouts and big things to come because fresh dirt makes a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure. It's, when it rains, the soils separate and things change. So, every time it rains, it changes a little more and a little more and a little more. And it's time, we need to, bring in some fresh dirt.
Yep.
What's your surface like? Is it more natural or are you like glued and oiled or?
No, we don't. It's funny you bring that up right now.
Don't say oil.
We dabbled with, we dabbled with oil and what an epic fail. In what I intended to do with the oil was an epic fail. The end result, it was still an interesting obstacle and everybody had to deal with it the same. Mm-hmm. So, what I thought was going to be an oiled high grip, this should be fun, cut down the dust, amazing traction corner, ended up being dubbed the skating rink. So,
oh wow,
it obviously completely backfired from what was intended.
In Tom and Jerry, when like Tom's legs just keep going and he's not going anywhere, that was the oil section. Yeah, yeah. But generally, our dirt, our main thing is that we have soaped dirt. So people talk about sugar, people talk about oil, but we talk about soap, and that's how we control the contraction and the dust control here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, if for those who have not been to LCRC, that corner was like if you went to PNB 2 years ago when they had the concrete section, that was exactly the level of traction. And it was interesting because you would go from full grip to no grip to full grip again. And so you couldn't change the car for it because it was a 30th of the track.
They did one of those that I think Silver State had one of those this year.
Yeah, there's I think PNB was the first one to have I'm only 2 or 3 years in, but the first one I heard of was PNB, and then a couple of other tracks have done the concrete section.
And the ironic part about it, like I look at that concrete section at these other races. To me, is like when my buddy Cody and I talk about a sand section at a Supercross race. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is the most ridiculous. It doesn't belong there. What are you thinking? Why on earth would you ever do that? And then we did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it does level the playing field, though. Everybody had to deal with the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was that section that if you overdrove it, it would definitely ruin your race. I mean.
Yeah.
Patience. It was like you're driving a 4-wheel drive car and then you went to a 2-wheel drive car for about 30 feet and then you're back to 4-wheel drive.
No hop-ups.
Yeah, it would definitely teach you throttle control. So, but on the building a track in the side yard, we had a similar conversation. My wife and I, we were at Rusty and Maddie's track down in Disputana, and my wife and Stacy, are friends and they hang out when we're at races. And she was like, you know what? We have enough space at our house. Why don't you just make a track at our house and then I can make food and, we can entertain. And I was like, woman, say no more. We are good. It was a 10-second conversation and it was now we have a container and skid steer and
Yeah, it looks really good. We
Hobby
were
shop.
watching the videos at the beginning.
Hobby
You
shop,
guys
yeah.
are doing a lot.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah. It's you know, it's that passion, you know, it's not work when you enjoy it, you know? So we got a lot going on, dodged a few bullets with the county. You know, so I've got some very nosy neighbors. Apparently every time I cut my grass, I get a call from the county, you know, asking if I have a permit. So I live on a really busy road that I guess a third of Virginia drives on. So, you know, a lot of people know what I'm Culpeper famous for my shop, my container, the track, and now my driveway. So people are like, "Oh, are you that house on the corner?" Yeah.
Yep.
But it's cool. You know, people are, you know, getting into RC. I one of the guys that's going to be helping out this year, Travis Witt, is works for a buddy of mine, and I got ready to get Nitrolux delivered, and Brent has a new warehouse that he has access to with Chris, and so they can do pallet shipping for Nitrolux now. And so I ordered like 10 cases or whatever, and because it was on a pallet, they wanted to charge me an extra $100. I bought enough to get free shipping, but they wanted to charge me an extra $100 because I have a residential address. So I called my buddy who has a big yard. They have a demolition company called DSI. And I said, "Hey, can I get this dropped at your place? And then I'll come pick it up." And he was like, "Yeah, no problem." So I get a phone call. It's there. I go, and this guy gets over and comes over, and he's like, is this RC nitro fuel? And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh man, I got like a ton of nitro cars." He's like all bashers, right? Never raced. And he was like, "Oh, you have the you have the house with the track?" And I was like, yeah. And apparently he lives right down the street from me. And so we became friends. He's all in now. He went from all crawlers and bashers to now he has a number of race cars. He's running S-Works, you know, like we do. And he's been over here helping. He helped with the driveway and all that stuff. So he's, you know, he's like 5 minutes down the road. Now he's going to be racing this year with us. So yeah,
that's awesome.
So, yeah. That's how it started.
So exactly. Yeah. That's how it gets started. Yeah. We had a, I came from some, not even similar. I'm not even going to say similar. My son and I used to race dirt bikes. We did woods racing, hair scrambles, that kind of stuff. And Father's Day weekend, I laid my bike down and tore four muscles and 2 ligaments in my left knee. And I was stuck on the couch for 6 weeks. And I had picked up a little Traxxas car to play with the dogs with. So we have, you know, as you guys know, we have Australian Shepherds now that you guys are part of the family.
Yeah.
So they're high energy, need lots of energy out. So I said, "Hey, let me get this car," and they'll chase it around, and then, you know, it'll be awesome. So when I hurt my leg, I was stuck, and I started watching. Oh, well, maybe I'll put a little track in the backyard, you know. And then we went to Adrenaline. You know, I got 2 of them. My son and I went to Adrenaline. And after about 15 minutes of breaking every part in that car, they said, "These are not race cars." So it was the weekend. We were indoor playing on their indoor track, and they were having their very first race on their outdoor track. And so I was like, "Oh, let's go check this out." So we go over there. They're running nitro. I'm like instantly hooked. I'm like, we're going to do this. So I go into the shop. They have the consignment table. And I bought a Losi 2.0 truck. That was a guy had moved out of town, didn't have a racetrack near him. So he put it on the consignment, and it was everything. Literally all I had to do was buy a battery charger. Everything else was there. Batteries. It was complete RTR, spare parts, everything.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I went all in. And then about 3 months later, I had, you know, 18 cars and trailer. And so, yeah, I don't do anything that way. Yeah. So, but yeah, and not too long after that, I was at you guys' track running that truck and short course and a number of other things that I bought. So Kind
Now
of
you get
crazy
an
how.
RV and a trailer and a shop.
Yeah. Well, that was my wife said, you know what? I'll go to any race, get an RV, and as long as I can take the dogs, that's the other awesome thing about you guys' place is so much space. And if you've been to RC or LCRC and you haven't checked out the creek in the back, it is my dog's favorite place. That is just a gorgeous place back there. It's always shady. The water is beautiful, and it's nice and refreshing too when it's hot. I don't know if that's spring fed or what, but it is.
Comes right out of the mountain.
Yeah, it's good stuff back there. So, let's see. We're way over our 30 minutes, but do we have any closing questions, Chris?
I don't think I got anything else. We'll definitely maybe later in the season we'll have to get back up together again and talk about how the season's going for everybody and all their racing.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Y'all still race yourselves, or you're only kind of facilitating?
Well, I was going to make a comment earlier. If you ever want to basically not drive near as much anymore, just build a track in your backyard. I work really hard at not forcing the me racing issue because I don't want to get burnout and not want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I still want to go. And I do go from time to time. I don't go near as often maybe as I should or want to sometimes, but I feel like the not pushing it to just go all the time and be away. Then when I do get to go, it's pretty magical. I really enjoy hanging out with our group, and whether it's my group of carpet buddies doing 2-wheel carpet, or if it's my newfound oval buddies, or I mean if I get to go to a race like PMB, or we did Blue Ridge Nationals the last year it was there, and we rented one of the little conference rooms and had all of the LCRC guys in that room together, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and I really think that dictates a lot of what we do. Kevin doesn't race here. I am not an RC racer, so you're not going to see me race. But Kevin doesn't really race here during our events anymore either. That's mostly because we're really thinking about your experience when you come. So, Kevin talking about these different events and how much fun he has with his friends, that really dictates what we do here. And we never want to look at it and be like, we were spending too much time trying to make sure, Kevin was enjoying his race and miss out on and making sure somebody else is having a really great experience. So, there is something about, we've lost some of our racing or the hobby side of this, but it is only to make sure that other people get to come and really enjoy it to the fullest potential that they can.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I realized that very quickly at the first event. I RD'd our first event, and that's when I said, yeah, there's no chance that I'm racing and RDing, and even RDing is too much. So that's why I brought Chris, and I was like, hey, I need some help, because when you're up in the booth, you can't do anything else.
Yeah.
And you need a pipe fixed, you got a hauler, and grab somebody. And so I'll be just Mr. Fix It this year. I'll be on the radio, kind of like you do, again, modeling after success, so. But
I go race.
Go ahead.
I go racing. I race usually just one class, sometimes two if it's a bigger event. But it'll be nice. I'll be in the booth. I've done a lot of race directing. I've done a lot of bigger events. It'll be nice to be in the booth again and at a fun outdoor track.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take a break from the booth and we'll stick somebody else in there so I can run my nitro races. But
yeah, we'll do some that'll allow me, with me not doing everything else, I'll be able to jump into the hobby shop when it's Zimmerman's time to go race, and jump into the booth when it's Chris's time to go race. And
Yeah,
kinda
no,
step in.
Tiny, that does mimic exactly what we
Oh, yeah.
do, because we, Kevin has sacrificed his racing to make sure our guys who are working can still race. It's super
Mhm.
important to be able to have them continue to have this passion for this hobby, and better for us to sacrifice ours in order to make sure that they get theirs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we've always tried to allow the race director the opportunity to run at least one class if they wanted to,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like you said, Tiny, you can't really afford to be the person in charge of running the majority of the facility and be stuck in the booth, because the booth is a
Mhm.
full-time job,
Yeah.
and managing the facility is a full-time job and a huge responsibility. So, if you have someone in the booth that can run the race, then it's easy for you to, all right, hey, I'm going to go run. I'll call race 11, 12, 13 so that you can get
Mhm.
your stuff ready and go do your thing, and it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's,
Bryce. Yes, Bryce. I got
Oh,
rid
yeah.
of the N1 buggy. I am all S-Works now.
He's S-Work. He's got the S-Works crew now. So yeah, it's if you step out of the booth and you're the RD, everything comes to a grinding halt and you're not getting done on time. So
Yep.
RD's got to be keeping everything moving, and so you can't go find toilet paper for the porta potty.
Right.
So,
Yeah. That's real.
But,
I
yeah,
will say, for
exactly.
anybody who hasn't had me as their RD, I run a tight ship.
Yeah. That's good. That's the
Good,
best.
you'll fit right in.
Yep,
Yeah.
I run a tight ship. I'm the last place I was RDing, I was the only RD that would actually dock laps if you didn't show up when you were supposed to.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Well, we that's why we had this conversation, I think, one time with Kevin, when you were something was going on and somebody was trying to push the limits, and I said, well, my opinion, if rules aren't enforced, they're just suggestions. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. You talk about it in your pre-brief, and then when you lose the lap or whatever your consequence is, we all make decisions have consequences. So well, I appreciate you guys coming on. I know we've gone over the time, and so why don't you, Krista, since you're the social media butterfly, can you give us the rundown of where we can find you, your website, everything?
Yeah.
Maybe
Awesome.
people who don't
So
know.
our whole hobby shop is online at lcrcraceway.com. So that is one of the ways that we can afford to keep doing what we do with the racetrack and these races. So we really appreciate everyone's support there. We're on Facebook and Instagram at LCRC. We're just LCRC Raceway on those. We also have a podcast on Apple and Spotify. It's called Married to RC. That is mostly driven about how we built this RC track, and it's really like a higher level look at how we built this, more so than other mediums where we're talking about our upcoming events and things. We're on a bit of a hiatus there. We also do a live podcast every Wednesday. Tomorrow kicks off our first one of the season. We do that during our race season. So Hump Day Happy Hour is every Wednesday. We are live on YouTube and Facebook, and that'll start tomorrow. So I appreciate you guys having us on, and we're really grateful to have the time with you guys, and that you were able to kind of spotlight, and such kind words that you shared about us.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for making the time and getting on our first episode to kick us off right, and looking forward to seeing you guys in a few days. It's a very short time
Coming up.
so,
About a week.
yeah, we're getting ready. Got to get my RV cleaned up and clean my RC cars, and so probably fix a few things, but we greatly appreciate it.
Brawl.
Oh yeah, it was rough. It was very cold, so we broke some stuff. So, but we appreciate your time, and we'll let you guys go, and then we'll get wrapped up here, and we'll see you guys in a few days.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Have a good night.
See you soon.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are just about out of time, but I do want to give you the opportunity to touch on what did we decide to call the segment? Nerd.
We don't have a name, but
Nerding
maybe we'll
out.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Nerding out.
So what's
I like that.
in your comments? What is the what's your recommendation for the techie nerd section where Chris goes over something technical or new product? But why don't you go ahead and talk about the exciting news from Reds?
So, I think this is very exciting news. I used to have a Reds engine, and that thing was beast. But Red's new engine is looking fantastic. It's new. It is built in Japan. It's an OS based engine, and I mean the thing is looking amazing. I might have to give Reds another shot. I don't know, but I'm excited for it. It looked like it did pretty well at PNB. I know Mason was running one.
Yeah.
He made it on the podium in pro. I know Red drivers all over the world are probably rejoicing over this because I had the 721, whatever their Mac Daddy motor that all the pros are running, and it was hard to tune. It wouldn't stay running, and this is going to be a game changer for Reds. We'll see maybe something shake up in the Worlds this year. I know our runner-up from Worlds. The runner-up from Worlds 2 years ago was running Reds, and I think he still is.
Is that
Juan Carlos?
Juan Carlos, yeah. I think he is. I know Mason runs Reds, and he was running the motor this weekend. He and his brother both. He did podium. He got second in truck, and Camden runs Ultimate, so he did podium in Nitro Buggy. But
Ultimate's another OS based, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, they used to be made by somebody else, but they're now OS based, and so
seems like OS is taking over the Nitro world. I do love.
I think I was watching.
I do love some of the. Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I was watching Lefty and the professor, can't think of his name. Max was doing an overview of this, and they were talking about basically almost every engine manufacturer now has an OS line. So
yeah, I love the jargon they throw in here, air boost and like. But they're saying apparently it's going to be easy to tune, which I'd be really looking forward to an engine that's easy to tune.
Yeah.
I'll say their 721 was not.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Ultimates. I run the first version of the Ultimate. I don't have a V2 yet. That's probably will I'll replace when I get to that point. But
I'm running
I'm
running an Alpha Dragon 5. It's been a good engine. So definitely but
you can't say anything about Alpha with Lutz being as good as he's been for as long as he's been. I mean,
he's got their he runs their Falcon V or Falcon whatever engine, which it makes the car go. So the Dragon versus the Falcon, I don't know the tech differences. All I know is I have a Falcon and it works, or I have a Dragon and it works.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have one vote for a name. Let's see here if I can show this. That's our first vote.
Nerded and Gadgets.
Yeah. So we'll see if we get some names for that segment. But I really appreciate everybody who jumped on with us tonight. We went a few minutes over. I'm going to try really hard to stick to the 1 hour because I know we're not going to be doing a 7 hour podcast, Lefty.
Never.
We will not. That podcast is famous for a reason. So,
apparently, according to Alicio, the Dragon has more power than the Falcon.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we'll be back live in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
And
we'll announce the guest shortly, and we'll start putting that out. But just a quick reminder, go check us out, Truth Motorsports on TikTok. We really want to get those. We need 1,000 followers on TikTok to be able to go live there. But go check us out on TikTok, on Truth Motorsports, on Instagram, Facebook, and RCRC Podcast on YouTube. And like, follow, and subscribe if you like what we're doing here. And we'd love to have you guys back in a couple of weeks. That will be
Also I think it takes 2 to 3 days for it to post, but we'll be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Prime Podcasts, anywhere you can. If you have friends who just want to listen in, don't have time to actually watch the live, they will be there, available to listen to.
Yeah, hopefully it's worth your time, and share it out to your friends. And as always, we will see you guys at the track. See you guys.
Freedom out. Down and quiet.